Hi everybody, and welcome to Deconstructing Unschooling. I'm Amy Milstein, and today we're going to talk about one of my very favorite things, travel. I think one of the great things about unschooling is that it frees you up to travel whenever you want, and your schedule is not dictated by the schools. They don't tell you when you can take vacation, and you can go places off-season when it's cheaper and less crowded, and it's fantastic. We just went on a short trip, which is why this video is a day late, and I'll get to that a little bit later. So a lot of people think they don't have the time or the means or the energy to plan trips or to go away. And so I want to cover just a few ideas and things that you can do. Now, of course, we all have our limitations, you know, contrary to what some people think. Most people who unschool are not just rolling in piles of money, and so we have to find ways to do the things we want to do on a budget. So I want to just give you two quick tips, and this of course depends on your style, your personal style. Not everybody can do this. Couchsurfing.org is a great website where you can basically go anywhere and crash on someone's couch or in a spare bedroom if they have it, and then you open your home up as well. You know, you offer that to other people. And I know people who've traveled all over the world this way, and they love it, and they make new friends, and they have great experiences. I also recognize that's not for everyone. There's something else called homeexchange.com if you own your home or your apartment. You know, a lot of people would love to come to New York City, for instance, if you live in the city, and stay in a place here and trade you their house. You know, it's a win-win. Staying in the city is super expensive at a hotel or a rented apartment. So that's something else you might consider, even if you don't live in the city. It could be anywhere. Chris Guillebeau has a great website called The Art of Nonconformity, and he gives tons of tips on how to travel cheaply and get cheap plane tickets. He's been to every country in the world, literally, which is kind of mind-boggling. But I love his stuff in general. He's got a lot of great things in there about learning and doing, but he focuses a lot on travel. So those are some great things that you might look at. But I want to mention something else as well. For me, the best thing about travel is that it makes me see things differently, even myself and my kids. It gives me a new perspective. It kind of opens my mind because I'm out of my routine. I'm out of the same, you know, 10-block radius in which I spend most of my time when we're here. And so do I have to go to Europe to have that experience? Well, of course not. I don't even have to go to California, which is where I've been the last 5 days. Although those things are great, and if you can swing it, I highly recommend doing both of those things. You can get a different perspective by crossing town. That happens to me here all the time. I kind of hate going to the east side. Sorry, people who live on the east side. Not because there's anything wrong with it per se, just it's out of the way. There's no real convenient way to get there. I hate the crosstown buses. You know, I have all these reasons why I don't like to go. But sometimes I have to. Sometimes there's something I want to do or I need to do, and that's where it is. And every time I do that, every time I wind up, you know, on East 69th Street or I'm down at Grand Central Station where I don't normally go, or I'm in Gramercy Park for some reason, I find myself looking around like, wow, I forgot about this thing, or I forgot about this place, or look at that amazing building that wasn't here last time I was here. Or look at this green space, or look at that sculpture they've put up. There's always something new, and my mind opens up just like it does when I leave the city and go to another state or another country. So the point of this is that you don't have to travel very far. If you're really on a tight budget, or your time constraints are such that, you know, a week trip anywhere is going to be difficult. You know, you can take the weekend and go somewhere in your immediate, like if you live in New York, in the tri-state or out on Long Island, but you can also just go somewhere in your own hometown that you just never normally go. You know how when people come to visit, you always say, I always say this, I love it when people come to visit the city, especially if it's their first visit, because then we do all the things that I never do unless people are coming to visit. And I get to see things through their eyes a little bit. So you don't have to wait for someone to come and visit you. You can just decide that, you know, on a given Saturday you're going to go out. I recommend taking a camera. This is the other thing I've noticed. When I have my camera with me, and I try to take it with me everywhere I go, even if I'm just out doing errands, I start looking for things to photograph. And that also is a way to open your perspective. You notice colors you never see, you know, buildings in a different way, or reflections in the glass. So all these things are a way to widen your world, is how I see it, without going very far. Now obviously if you can plan a trip far away, do it. I think that's great. It's an invaluable experience to go to another culture and see how people deal with things. Something else I want to mention is that Blake Bowles on his website talks about ways for young people to crowdfund their trips. If you put together an itinerary that has, you know, a goal or a learning objective, you can actually get people to help you fund it. Now if you just want to go lay on the beach, you know, at the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas, that might not bring you a lot of money. But if you're doing something educational, if you want to learn about another culture in a specific way, there are a lot of ways to go about doing that. For young people, that's an awesome opportunity. So travel is one of the best things I think we as unschoolers can do. I think the best education you can get is to go out in the world and just experience it. So that's what I want to say today about travel. Anytime you can do it, anywhere, for any length of time, I recommend it. I think it's the best thing you can give to your kids, or one of the best things. And like I said, sometimes you don't even need to leave your own hometown. So today, based on the fact that we just spent a week in California, almost a week, 5 days in California, I have to give my shout out today to 3 people. They are, I wrote their names down so I wouldn't forget, Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Kareem, and they are the founders of YouTube. That was only founded in 2005, which is sort of mind-boggling because I can't imagine not having YouTube, and I can't remember what it was like before YouTube was around, which is sort of scary. Anyway, these 3 guys were employees of PayPal. They decided they needed a better way to share their videos and post videos, and they created YouTube. Thank you very much, because without YouTube I wouldn't be doing this. None of you would be seeing this today probably. And also, because they created YouTube, I was in California for the last 5 days with my kids at the VidCon video convention in Anaheim, and I have to tell you, I'm not going to get into a big thing about the pros and cons of media and screen time and all that, but I have to tell you that I have never attended a more positive, upbeat gathering of thousands of people. There were, I believe, over 11,000 attendees this year, from all walks of life, all ages, all backgrounds, all sizes, all shapes, all colors. It was the most incredible experience. I never expected it to be that great. I don't really follow a lot of the famous, YouTube people who were there. My daughter does. I got to know some of them before we went, so I'd be familiar with what was going on. But as it turns out, it didn't really matter. This group of people, I've never seen thousands of people wait in a line to get in somewhere and not one person get upset or get annoyed or snap at someone in front of them who isn't moving fast enough, or never. There was not one incident the whole time we were there where I saw a parent snap at a kid, where I saw people get upset at each other in the convention hall or in lines, and there were a lot of lines because there were people doing signings and meet and greets, and people would wait for hours to meet these famous YouTubers that they watch their videos online. It was incredible. So before you ditch the whole media aspect, you might want to check out some of these people. Now, I will fully admit that some of the content of the people we saw, some of their video content, I wouldn't watch on a regular basis, and maybe I wouldn't even want my kids to watch some of it. But in person, these are the most generous, upbeat, positive people I have ever met, and I'm not exaggerating that in the least. It was also awesome to be walking around a convention hall with thousands of people and see someone go, "Oh my God," and run up to someone and stop them and tell them how much they love their videos. Just another person attending the conference, because many of the people in attendance also make videos and post them, like this, like me. And they each have their own group of people who watch them. And so they would run up, they would say, "I love your videos." They would take a picture, the person would give them a hug or whatever, and they would walk on, and I would say to my daughter, "Do you know who that is?" And she'd be like, no, I don't have any idea. It was great because everybody had their own niche, their own group of people, and everyone was there to support each other. I can't even go on, obviously I'm rambling. It was fantastic. Anyway, so my shout out is to the creators of YouTube. Thank you guys. None of us would be here doing this, watching this, if it weren't for you. Thanks everybody. See you next time. Bye.